Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is Tech Meetup, monthly Tech Meetup. We are arranging from Bay Area Tamil Mandram. And this is for not only for Tamil community here in Bay Area, but everyone. So we expanded our services to all the Bay Area tech community. And the purpose of today's session is to bring some technical knowledge sharing from Ghana of AHA Learning and Janaki Kauta. So both of them, they're going to share their technical expertise and soft skill. Especially Janaki is going to go through brand building, how to do that LinkedIn networking, all those things. With that, I will also request you to support Bay Area Tamil Mandrams. During the COVID, we are doing some food drives donation. I'm showing it in the screen, and URL we are sharing here, tinyurl.com, BATM Food Bank 2021. So if you like this session and if you want to donate for the local food bank, please do it. And thank you, Gana, and thank you, Janaki, and volunteers, Rajesh, Senthil, everyone. Uma, she is going to do the career guidance, and we will have 3 sessions today. First, we will start with the cloud introduction and some details from Gana. Second is soft skills from Janaki Kauta, and then Q&A. So that's going to be important. Whatever questions you have, you can ask the panelists. They will review and they will question and answer. Finally, thank you note. Thank you all. With that introduction, I will turn on to Ghana.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Govind. I'm going to take over your screen, share.
Let me pass my
I'm doing it. I can do it. Govind, you don't have to do anything. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So today we are here from AHA Learning and also Bay Area Tamil Mandram to make your transformation, at least to give you a direction of where you can go and explore your career path. And especially if you are in a cloud journey and you're trying to figure out how we can help you out. And today we're going to transformation. Please to give you a direction. Can you guys mute that YouTube link? Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking care of those things, Gana. Sure.
Okay. Given options to give for you to explore this. Okay, so myself, Gana Chandrasekharan, and a cloud evangelist. I'm working for hyperscalers. I've worked for multiple hyperscalers in the past, and we're going to talk about a lot today. With that, let me get started. Reimagine every day, right? Transformation, it is something, a very big buzzword talked mostly in the industry. So let's talk about here. What I mean transformation is taking it yourself, putting into cloud journey. Like a lot of folks, including myself, like 7-8 years before, were completely on premise and trying to figure out how can I jump into this cloud, immerse into the cloud. How do I part of the cloud journey? How can I help? So that dream becomes true like after a couple of years when I keep on trying and learning continuously for maybe at least each and every single day. Then I joined Microsoft as a virtual CTO for their organization, completely from on-premise, completely cloud background, not a lot of cloud background, I would say, but I put myself into the journey and I'm able to accomplish that. If you believe in yourself that you can make a transformation, of course, you can also do. A lot of folks also have done it, coming from on-premise directly to the cloud. So what makes sense is mostly innovation. When I say innovation, I'm not talking about the product. I'm not talking about what the customer does it. I'm talking about how are you innovating about yourself. A very important question. How are you innovating yourself? So a lot of us, what we think, like we all know about Satya Nadella or Sundar Pichai or pick any other CEO name that you think of. It's good for you, right? But the most important thing is you have to get the best out of yourself. Then you become CEO for yourself, right? I think the most important thing is to see yourself, to get the best out of you. I think that is where you see the transformation is actually coming out. Right? So all have to embrace a new technology. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Let me tell a story before we can jump into this. last year, I was in a college. By the way, I do a lot of motivational talk as a guest speakers to multiple institutions in India. Happened to be in Tamil Nadu, one of the Institute of Engineering College, and is talking like more than 200 students. And the topic of human psychology and how machine learning AI is going to change and make an impact to the society as an overall. So I asked this book, I gave it to them, like I have like 10 different copies. Who wants to go and read and come back and maybe give me a guess, give me a summary of how is basically, what did you understand? Who wants to do it, right? So a lot of students actually interested in that. That itself is quite puzzle, right? They want to read the books. Okay, so they came and they've collected and they disappeared. And the next day morning, I was there. They are giving summary of what they have learned. Is definitely I see as an industry we have transformed, as society we are transformed. Because in my generation, like 10 years ago, when somebody asked me, hey, who wants to go and read? Who wants to volunteer this? Maybe one or two in the class would stand up, okay, I will do that, right? But things have changed now, because when I asked the question, like 20 of them actually said, that means definitely as a society, we have improved. Happy to see that. That's number one. And the second, where we can make an improvement is when I ask the students, go and read these books, they did not ask a question, or they failed to show, or they have to improve in the learning to be curious, because they did not ask. So Ghana, tell me, which chapter should I read? Or what are you talking about? If there's any specific subjects that you want me to focus on, do you want me to do some research? Are you talking about comparing this in a project in the book related to some other, maybe in publicly available material? Like a lot of questions can be explored in the time that I was thinking that I missed from the students. So next day when I met them, I told them exactly, you are great and presenting yourself, because if you want to be first, you have to be, if you want to be first, you have to present yourself also to be first, right? So that's the number one. So growth mindset, right? So this shows what courage do you bring it to the table. So there are students who said, yeah, I will try to do it, but I still want to have the book. There are students who said, I will do it. Definitely, it shows a big momentum. But learning to be curious, it's very, very important. Asking questions, what you have to learn from the book, what you have to learn from the chapter will change your mind, because that is going to read what I'm going to expect from the students tomorrow. Similar angle, you might be expert in on-premise world, or coming from a college grad, you want to go into the cloud. Doesn't matter. The cloud is so broader. It is, even if you study from now for the next 5 years, whatever you're going to study, it's going to outdate in the 6th year. Things are changing much innovative phase. You cannot expect how much innovation is happening each and every single day by the hyperscalers. So what makes you survey? I'm talking about survival, not about us becoming superstar. If you wanted to survey, you have to ask questions. Whether it's a right or wrong questions, it doesn't matter, but ask questions, learn to be curious. That is very, 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 very important. So finding the best from you, it is the big challenge, but if you bring it out, if you're really passionate about something, yes, you will make an impact. I'll give an example. Myself, I'm really passionate about problem solving, building things. That is what I'm good at it. Right? So when I join a company like the earth-most centric company, I started seeing myself, I'm very happy, I'm passionate about building things. So what does that make important sense for you? I think that is what we should focus on, right? So you are good at developing something on-premise. We need to make sure how we can migrate those skills directly into the cloud. I think that is what we should focus on. Especially if you're had certain experiences, let's think about how do we bring it onto the cloud. Remember, lot of things you're going to unlearn what you gain from on-premise world. So we're not going to use those vocabularies, those experiences, that hands-on experience that which you had, it may not be relevant in in cloud, but that leadership experience that you broadcasted, that attitude that you have to, you had to go and solve the problems, that will be useful, definitely useful for hyperscalers. When I say embracing a new technology, let me talk about very important things, especially around here. In on-premise world, we don't care, right? Because we are restricted in terms of resources that we use. Like it's very hard to find who worked on Oracle database administrator, SQL database administrator, because the resources are pretty limited. So if you want to spin up multiple clusters in on-premise, oh my God, I mean, we don't have money as a consumers, we are not going to spin up. But in cloud, it completely changes how you're going to provision, right? Because you can just log in, even that is a free account in all hyperscalers. You can go and provision a SQL cluster or Oracle clusters. You can just learn the database skills in 2 days, isn't it? So things are changing. So the innovation is in your hand. The implementation is in your hand. So what best you want to bring it out is in your hand as well. So it's you who decides your career, who decides your destination. And let's talk about maybe 3 different technology domains. Like previous year, what happened, previous destination, maybe a couple of years before, as a human, like we started seeing a senior programmer training a junior program, right? So that's a one sort of a journey. I know Python, I know Java, Ruby, Go, all this is fine. But what is happening now, little different, like humans are actually training the machines. This is a time that we all should catch up and at least understand how do we train the machines. It's important. Whether robotics will take over humans, we don't know that. So that's a debatable question. Just park it for now. But in this journey, like we are as a human, we are training machines. If we don't, if you for some reason, if you're not putting ourselves into a journey, you know what happened next generation? The machines will be training the machines. If the machines are going to train the machines, and it will be even more harder for us to catch up the journey because we don't even understand how we train our machines. So these are like important things I want to think about. This is the time for you to learn to be curious. Very, very important. It's Amazon. Like they have one of the leadership principle, but for us, it doesn't have to come from Amazon. It just comes from us, and it is part of us. Learning to be curious, it is part of us. For some reason, we let it go. For some of us, right? So we just have to bring it back. We all came from college. We all highly competitive, and students, you might have got 90%, 70% came to US, and you're still surviving in the career itself. It's a big kudos and applause for you. But continue to be in the career. You have to act fast and learn to be curious. Very, very important. And be empathized to yourself. I think that's something I want to talk about, because today, let's say you learn something from the session, and you go and share with your friend, hey, I learned something this, what do you think about? Because your friends also might share something else you learned from outside. So it's equally important. It's not about you or the other person. We always stand, we as united, so giving back to the community. I think that is where we come and stand out. So myself, I'm very personalized. I'm very personalized to give it back to people. And you may be asking, why is that? A lot of my friends who contributed to my growth. I did my engineering because of my friends and my families. I did my MBA without my friends and families. Without that, I would not continue. I'm not even completed. So after completing my diploma, even engineering in a correspondence, it is so painful for me. But I did it successfully, and I got like 70, 80% engineering, bits Pilani, because of my friends and my families who were able to support it during the time and able to accomplish it. Right? Similar way, like be empathized to yourself that you want to give it back, then you will have much more impact. So, and before we talk about the numbers, I wanted to think about a lot of us who come back with an idea of, I know certain things. I know that. Just remove the vocabulary. So moving from know it all to learn it all, it is going to be very, very important. So always think yourself, what I'm going to learn, what questions I'm going to ask, how I'm going to dive into the cloud, and what area I'm going to focus on. These are like important aspects that you need to figure out in this session, or you can just connect me with offline. Maybe I can talk to 10, 15 minutes. I can figure out what exactly that you wanted to do, right? So look at the figures. Now let's talk about the compensation perspective, why it is so important. We always like to see the results, right? Results. And look at the numbers, how much money there, especially with cloud computing. That's actually median number, by the way. And so it could be even 20, 30% more peak, then you can get the numbers, right? These are like examples how the cloud transformation is driving the number. Oh, you might be thinking, hey, I'm already on-premise. I'm making such a good number, even more than what is highlighted here. Do I still have to learn the cloud? I mean, good luck on that. Because 3-4 years, your jobs are going to disappear, especially on-premise. Things are moving. Customers are moving to cloud. And you would see 50-60% of the infrastructure is especially moving to the cloud. You know why? Because the hyperscaler is defining the trend for customers to migrate. So making the CIOs and the executives to move to the cloud is going to be so cost effective. At the same time, when they do it, it is going to be simple for them to manage it so they can innovate with the help of machine learning and AI and quantum computing and so on. So you just have to think, and whether you want to be in a journey, if yes, and make sure you act now. And this is a wake-up call to all of us, like including myself, including Govind, including everybody. We have to be in the transformation, and take yourself and just think about where are you in the journey. Okay, you want to go to the cloud. Okay, it is fine. What do you want to focus on? You want to focus on an application. You want to focus on database. You want a machine learning, analytics. You want management tools, or you're talking about you want to go and do a mixed reality world like quantum computing, or you want to focus on a compute networking. Just pick one domain that you're comfortable with in on-premise, where you come back with a lot of strength and apply that learning directly into the cloud. And learn to be curious is very, very important for your journey. Cloud is not something to make it, but if you do make it, you would see a lot of transformation that you can make. All right, so with that, let me introduce myself. You saw my name, I don't have to tell you again. So what about myself? So I lost my parents at the young age, but I continue with the support from the family. I raised myself. I did my 10th grade in Tamil medium school. Then I did my diploma. Diploma is like a 3-year after you go to school. Then afterwards, I started working. So I worked for system integrators in the early part of my career. Then multiple Fortune 500 companies like Symantec or Veritas that time, Hitachi, Dell EMC. Then I moved to hyperscalers. And I really love what I do because I'm very passionate about building things. And that is what I found out to be like having this curious mindset, learn to be curious. It's something that you do see that you can just follow, like myself or some of us, like similar to that industry as well. And I didn't stop. It's a diploma is my last degree. No, I did not stop because I said learning has to be there. At the same time, hunger for learning. Like I want to learn today, tomorrow, every hour. And even sharing this knowledge, I'm hoping I'll get out of something from you, because that is the most important thing. I'm waiting for the Q&A session back so that I can get most information from you. And myself, I also created a company as an entrepreneur for machine learning AI 2017. I ran a small org, and I'm running an AHA Learning. This school is primarily for underprivileged children and students. This school is basically in Namakkal to help, like especially if you're coming from government school. I studied in government school. I don't have an opportunity to even to have a stage to present myself, to take away the problems. I mean, every year I'm at least we're raising 1,000 students on stage, presenting a different skill set. Even 2 weeks before, there was a program, and we had demonstrated so many different things. So even there was a student who presented a concept of a Brownian motion. So some of you may know what is Brownian motion, some are not. It's people who don't know. Brownian motion is the effects of two different chemicals joined together, and then as a result, what happens? It's basically called as Brownian motion. And remember, one of the students asked, when I explained to her about Brownian motion, and I still remember the AHA Learning student asked me, what is it Brownian motion? Right? You see the brain, like when the kids come back, when they see the new things, and when even sometimes we fail to ask, but kids coming from AHA Learning to school, I mean, they ask, okay, what is Brownian motion? So developing the curiosity mindset. We teach creativity, curiosity. At the same time, how can you be unique? How can you develop this innovation within you? I think that's a core mantra of AHA Learning. Believe in you is our core mantra that I'm doing in Namakkal. Again, follow me on the Facebook. You would see a lot of new projects that we do. Again, this is absolutely for fun. Creating a scientist within you. Especially if your family is anyone is in India and who wants to join with us, just ping me in Facebook. Follow us on the Facebook. I'll happy to get back to you. All right, let's get into the cloud journey in detail. Let me take a break for 2 minutes and I'll connect again. Thank you, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so folks on the call, just be on the line. So now I'm going to be on live. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me put in a slideshow.
While you're
Yes, Kana, that was a very great inspirational speech.
Oh, thank you, Govind. Okay. All right, folks in the call, I'm going to go through introduction. What is cloud computing? I'm going to cover use cases and cloud computing and a few important aspects of cloud. Keep it interactive or keep your questions ready. And I will, and myself and Janaki are here to help you to navigate your career journey. So keep your questions, anything you think that you wanted to ask. Okay, so what is cloud computing? Cloud computing, it's an on-demand delivery of IT resources. So what does IT resources means? Let me break it down. So it could be compute, storage, networking, database, analytics, even a machine learning AI as a models. So now what happens is the hyperscalers started delivering the resources completely over the internet, which is dramatically different how we do it in on-premise. Because let's say example, if you want to deploy an application in on-premise, it takes at least 12 weeks to procure a server or a storage and then deploy an application. I'm talking about 12 weeks of time. So the impact of the delay, it's creating a huge innovation issue. For example, delay in innovation. The customers that I have seen, they are not able to innovate faster. But going to the cloud, like offering something like I want to have 2,400 cores of a compute. For example, the project they're working on last week, 200,000 core of a compute. We're talking about petabytes of a storage. You want it immediately available to the cloud, to the customers. The cloud is the easiest way the customer can go and deploy. So it is another thing, and you don't have to in on-premise you have to buy and own and maintaining the physical data centers and servers. But if you come into the cloud, you don't have to do that because it's completely rented services. Think of how do you turn on the power at home, like you have gas services, or turn on the switch, like how you get the power from electric company. So something similar. Cloud is something you turn on the switch and then you get the services directly to your accounts, or direct to extension of your data center. I hope that answers what is cloud computing and who is using cloud computing. So pretty much all the industries and entertainment, talk manufacturing, technology, IT technology companies, or railways, government sectors. So any customer that you see, definitely they're using cloud. And what I listed is a few use cases, but think of pretty much any use cases that can use cloud computing, including from a mainframe. You want to host an application, you want to data migration, you want to DR, disaster recovery solution. I want to build my email exchange solution onto the cloud, or I want to build a virtual desktop, big data analytics. Any use case you think of, let's say tomorrow you start a company and you want to build a 3-tier application directly onto the cloud. You can just pretty much you can do it. And how you can do it is a different type of conversation, but cloud computing will help you to first, number one, to host it. Second, it also helps you to scale it. It provides elasticity, it provides a performance and high availability and so on. So there are different benefits why customer go to the cloud and versus comparatively with on-premise. Just a couple of things. You don't have to do heavy lift to entire data center in on-premise. You just manage it directly into the cloud, and then you can the cloud systems would give an opportunity to elastically can scale the based on how your business requirements it's going to grow. Okay, so hope that helps. And let me talk about few industry use cases that are pretty much relevant here. There are healthcare companies to develop more personalized treatment for patients. So there is one use case I read from Amazon. They're talking about even the pictures, images of a corona, how the protein gets developed in everyone's body, and then they're taking a pictures, and then even they're comparing it, and then they can make a prediction. Okay, these are the patients could be impacted one for corona. I mean, without even taking a test, but looking at this protein results and they're able to the protein images result, they're able to predict. Okay, these are patients that are going to might have corona. Just think about, and especially for HIPAA compliance, we're talking about keeping a data more personalized, more secured, and keeping a data within the regions. All of this are offered today in the cloud. It was a challenge just a couple of years ago, but no longer it is a challenge. The financial services, especially if you're talking about a fraud detection, you go to like a Walmart or you go to like a like any retail store, start using a card. Maybe if you use a wrong credit card number, or you see the fraud detection that typically happens even in online. So that transaction is immediately gets blocked. And how does it happen? Because behind the scene, the cloud able to collect all this spammers or abusers or the people who cheat this business before. They collected all the numbers, and they're going to verify your numbers. When they do make a connection, they're able to block, okay, that particular transaction is fraud, let me block that. Similar scenario for video games. So let's say example, if you run a video game company, like you want to do like mixed reality, you want to get a virtual reality application directly hosted in the cloud, you can spin up those servers instantly directly onto the cloud. It gives you that innovation, and the speed. These are like important benefits that customers are getting it from industry. Personally, I've seen retailers are getting huge benefits. There are many use case examples, like you go to like Amazon.com, so you see the recommendation engine. Go to Walmart.com, you would see it's basic on. We go to Walmart.com, the front end page, the application page, you would see the recommendation products are keep coming scrolling. It's all coming from a data infrastructure and also data analytics. What's recommendation engine actually built on top of that, and that is the benefits of a cloud. It's not only infrastructure, it's not only platform or services. You have to think as a overall a SaaS solution as a cloud, right? But definitely there is infra play in the past play. But by the way, I work for Amazon. I cannot officially say that I work for Amazon because still I haven't cleared the tier 2 certification process. But whatever I'm sharing it here is my own experience, right? It's nothing to do with Amazon. But what I want to talk about here is all this company that we work for, even my previous experience with Microsoft, 60 to 70% of the customers are already moving rapidly. They're moving to the cloud. Once they are moved to the cloud, or 70% workload is already moved to the cloud. So you have to think in yourself, any industry that you are in, finding a way yourself how cloud transformation is going to help you and is going to take your transformation. Okay, maybe getting into a little bit of details, going one step below. What is the advantages of moving to the cloud? Sometimes we often hear from our customers, trade in capital expenses for variable expense. Customers do ask this question, am I really going to save cost by moving to the cloud? And so this is an interesting question, because when this question comes up, we typically change a message. The message is like, we don't trade. Okay, we don't say that it's basically we have lower expenses by providing pay as you go consumption model. That is not correct. So we're going to trade in capital expenses in the form of variable expense and as you consume. So that is the clear direction. Let us say in on-premise, we have seen customers who hosted about, let's say, $50 million. They built data center in San Jose. Now, if they want to migrate the data center directly to the cloud, of course, the customers are not going to pay immediately $50 million, and based on the consumption, and they're going to pay, right, over a period of time. And remember, the cloud is you're always going to pay how much you're going to consume on a daily basis, per hourly basis, on even a per second basis, per minute basis. It's completely changes. But in the capital expenses in on-premise, once you buy it, okay, you've done with it, right? You don't have to pay. After 3 years, you worry about warranty, or you worry about how you get the maintenance contract and so on. But even for on-premise, you have big challenge in terms of scalability and also innovation. I'll talk about this in a second. Let's get to second one, massive economies of a scale. Why it is important? Like enterprise companies, like you take example of Dell or HP companies, they get, let's say, so they initially sign up for a contract with Amazon or Microsoft, let's say one of the hyperscaler. So initial days, they buy very small compute capacity in one of the region, and they continue to scale. So what happens over a period of time, they do it. Let's say like one of the hyperscalers start building a massive data center for that one customer, in this case of HP or Dell, right? Now, what happened over a period of time? Like, let's say hyperscaler myself, like a Microsoft or Amazon. So I'm going to recruit more customers to host in the same data center, right? So I'll have like hyperscale perspective, I have more customers in one single region. So what is the outcome? There is a massive economies of scale. So what is the benefit? It's basically bringing down the cost. So far, this information is publicly available. So far, 80 times Amazon Web Services have, even more than that, dropped the price for the cloud services. Yeah, it's basically I'm saying drop the price for cloud services. I've seen customers, they pay X amount of money, but after 1 year they pay low amount of, they pay even much lower than what they paid before. So that is the direction why the execs and also the CIOs and CDOs are pretty much interested in moving to the cloud. First time they're saying, oh, you guys are dropping the price. So that is definitely that I'll be interested to explore what is that. So think about that. In on-premise, we always guess capacity, like Janaki from NetApp, and she knows how much storage capacity she provisioned whenever she talks to customer. So the requirement, okay, I want a petabyte of storage capacity. Okay, so exabyte of storage capacity. So you don't have the conversation in the cloud. There is no question of capacity. There is no question of number of cores. There won't be any conversation because we don't size anything onto the cloud. all we talk about is, yes, we talk about a performance, we talk about a cost, operational efficiency, and elastically how we are going to scale. But it's nothing to do with the size. Stop guessing capacity in the cloud. So it is little different. I told you before, you have to unlearn certain things. These are things that you have to unlearn from on-premise and learn little differently into the cloud. So let us talk about increased speed and agility. Very, very important, because you can provision any resources. Like you want to have 500 servers with the 12 cores of CPU. Okay, there is instances you can just provision immediately. It will be available within 10 minutes for you go and build an application. If that happens, innovations on the fly, innovation definitely on your scale. But if you want to do that same thing on-premise, okay, good luck with that. So it is going to take at least 12 weeks for you to provision, and somebody have to certify, putting in cables, everything. Then IT has to involve. There is so much of procedure. That's a heavy lifting your data center. I don't want to talk about. Innovation is definitely cool in the cloud. Yeah, stop spending money running your data centers. I talked about this. Go global in minutes. This is an additional one advantage. So especially, let's say if you are a customer, especially let's say Dell or HP locally in San Jose in the West region, and let's say if they want to go back and build the same application directly in Europe or Asia Pacific, you can do it within an hour, right? But if you're going for on-premise, you have to build a data center that is going to take weeks and months time. So you can see these are like core advantages why customers are moving to cloud. Very, very important to consider. Customers are moving to the cloud. So you all have to make sure you are some part of the journey when you take the transformation, and then you have to align yourself for the industry so that you can also upgrade your skills and move to the cloud. I'm going one step further down, a little bit more technical. So the one thing you need to understand is a concept. Let's say, example, if I have a customer as a data center, I have it in the West region, let's say in San Jose, and I'm thinking about adapting a cloud. Let's say if I'm a CIO for Dell, and now I'm thinking about, okay, I have my data center in San Jose. I'm trying to expand my data center. How do I go about and doing it? So there is a concept of a global infrastructure. It's pretty much same in terms of how we do it. Maybe one or two components are missed from other cloud vendors, but mostly majority of hyperscalers following the same concept. So it starts with the regions and availability zones and the local zones and edge locations. I'm going to explain a little bit on each one of this. You will have more understanding on this. So what is the region? So region is nothing but a physical, a geographical location where services are rendered. When I say services, think of a compute, storage, networking, databases that you can provision out of a region. So let's say if going with the same example, if I'm a CIO for Dell and I'm thinking about expanding my West data center, maybe putting in a West region as part of an Amazon, in this case of example, I can take AWS, my region as the West region, I can choose. Now, in that case, let's say I want to deliver an application. Let's say I want to buy a compute of, let's say, 200 cores of compute. So that's coming out of maybe 6-7 different instances, right? I can buy 7 different VMs. We call instances, basically it's on-premise, well, it worked on, think of as in virtual machines. It's 7 different instances. Now that 7 different instances can come from any one of the availability zones. So what is availability zones? So availability zone is nothing but a cluster of data centers. And again, each and every single availability zones are connected with the redundant power, cooling, and also networking within that region. So what does that mean? Each AZs are interconnected with high performance and low latency network. So what does that mean? Let's say if I deploy an application and I said I have 7 different instances, and take the 7 VMs spread across multiple availability zones. On top of that, I'm building that application. So what is the outcome of it? Why I'm doing this? Let's say example, even if I lose one of the availability zone, let's say I lose 3 instances, still my application would be up and running on the based on another availability zone. So you see the redundancy, you see the high availability. Okay, something similar for RDS instances as well. So again, it's a managed database services. You don't have to confuse what does RDS means, relational database services. If you know it is okay. If you don't know about what is RDS, it is fine. Think of you're running an Oracle directly into on-premise data center. But in the case of if you want to run Oracle directly into an Amazon, you can do it, but you can do it self-serviced, or you can also manage database instances. So RDS is basically managed database instances. You don't have to patch it. You don't have to provision a backend server. You don't have to install the database software. It's automatically managed, patched, backed. It also does a backup as well, so you can just restore if you want to have certain points, if you want to enable that. It's all can be done, multiple availability zones, and it gives you redundancy. Now, what is a local zone? A local zone is something that recently Amazon launched a year ago. The primary purpose is to even bring you the data center closer, bring you that Amazon data center close to your data center. Bring Amazon data center close to you. What does that mean? Let's say if you're looking for a single digit response time, I want to have maybe 5 millisecond response time from my San Jose data center to Amazon data center. If you want to have that close connectivity, you can do that with the help of local zones. Okay, some global picture of what does it look like? Yeah, multiple regions, 24 launched regions, 77 availability zones, and there is a local zone concept I talked about, and wavelength zone is another concept within local zones that helps you to build an artificial AR and augmented reality, AR and VR applications especially through 5G network. And again, there are more direct locations, point of presence that help you to build like content delivery network. So think of a local zones and the point of presence that are actually playing it together. Sometimes you would see local zones. This is a new innovation that happened last year. So for continuously since the launch of the cloud, we also had like point of presence. Let's say if you want to host an application close to somewhere your customers in Europe, you want to do that, you can also do with the help of point of presence. Rather, it goes from the region, you can host it in a point of presence, and then point of presence is directly connected using Amazon backbone network to one of the region. I hope it helps. So another question I always come across is a customer data secured on cloud? So what is that all cloud vendors, hyperscalers are doing it, right? So there is a two different directions I want to talk about. So when you think about security, it's an important responsibility because we call in Amazon, we call it a shared responsibility model between a customer and also an AWS as overall, right? So what does that mean? So example, AWS is responsible for security of the network, and the customers that you deal with it are responsible for the security in the cloud. Let me give a little more examples here. So example, like a regions and availability zones, edge location, compute, storage, database, networking software. These are pretty much managed by AWS that Amazon responsible for. Let's say in the case of example, like a customer data platform application that you are responsible for, right? That you are responsible for as a customer that you have to manage it. Now you could ask me a question. So is how is it hyperscalers going to provide, and is it going to provide any support? Of course, there are a lot of tools that are available today that we offer. So example, like Amazon, we got identity access management, we got IAM, and to secure who has access to your network and what kind of permissions that you wanted to provide, what kind of privilege that you want to provide for a specific users, and you can also give controlled access for different services within AWS resources. Not only that, you're also allowed to encrypt your data, like example, encryption in transit and also encryption and trust. And we use a different type of tools within AWS to provide that encryption. And we also monitor API calls and to block it. And also we provide additional information. For example, if the buckets are open to the public and you wanted to know much ahead of a time, you can control all of that. Security is definitely job zero with Amazon Web Services. And so one other thing, we always make sure we take care of this. When we go to customers, when you talk about the customers, we provide the best practice and tools that customers can protect the data. You see the line of segregation that's happening here, like software, this line, this changes for each and every single service. The one that you see, this is for EC2, this is for a VM instance. For example, if I take a managed instance, like I talked about RDS, this line of separation completely different. It doesn't have to be the same way. It could be completely different. So I just want you to think about when somebody's talking about security in the cloud, yes, the cloud is secured, of course, yes. So then you bring up security is a shared responsibility model. Just think about what is that hyperscale responsible for, and then on other angle, think about how customer is responsible for, and then how Amazon, other hyperscalers is going to provide tools to support that inter journey. Just think in that multiple phases would really help you to see the cloud, this data is more secured. I'm not saying than on-premise, but definitely more secured in on-premise, in cloud. So now let me get into one step further down. So what are services that are available overall, right? So you have a compute services within Amazon. So we call Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, and AWS Lambda. This is basically serverless compute. What does a serverless compute means? That means in EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, you always run this compute machines, virtual machines, and you have to pay for it. Think of it 24/7. You have an instance running it on the cloud. But Lambda, it's a serverless compute, which means you just run it and only when you need it. That means you only pay for the computing capacity when you run your code. Otherwise, you don't have to pay for it. And Lambda usually triggers in terms of an event. And this may be all new concept for you, but yeah, we can happy to provide more information and guide you a lot of details because this is pretty interesting. I'm trying to keep it at a high level. And similarly, there are storage services like CloudFront, Glacier, Storage Gateway, Content Delivery. These are like a different options can help you to store your content more securely and in a high performant way. And there are different database versions. You see is a managed database version. You can also have a self-managed database version also in the cloud. For example, if you're running a SQL database version, if you run it on the VM, you can absolutely do it on into the cloud. There's nothing stops. And there is a DNS service Route 53 and VPC for virtual private cloud, Direct Connect for connecting your data center directly to the AWS cloud. Again, there are different type of services: administration, deployment, analytics, mobile service, application services. And what I show you here is still small. We have more than 200 services that is available in the cloud. Again, having a good foundation like compute, storage, database, networking, analytics, maybe it's a good enough for you to find a job anywhere in the industry. If you're good at compute, storage, database, networking, analytics, that's all you needed to go and find a job in the market. When you talk to customers, how do you find out what journey they are in? They call it stages of adoption. So important to think about, because every single customer that you go, they'll talk about a project, foundation, and then migration and reinvention and so on. So the first time, let's say if you are involving into the cloud, the important thing is you would realize what is a project that I'm involved with. So the project I'm going to talk about, let's say I have a 3-tier web architecture, maybe PayPal.com, for example. Let's say a PayPal application. If I want to host it directly into the cloud, and that is a project. So I'm doing a small POC to the customer, and I can show that. So that is then you can say the customer is in a project state. So once a customer sees a value, okay, understand the POC is fine. Now the next step that I want to go to the foundation, they can start thinking about building the production landing zone. So you talk about security, you talk about compliance, you talk about the storage, compute, all of this. So make sure the customer is comfortable moving to production. Production means customer has started running the workload in production. Okay, then you have an option to migration, which is like migrate the data directly to reinvention mode. So when you do this, there are a few things that you're going to retire. Example, you might be running an Oracle database version directly onto the cloud. Maybe this is a time for you to migrate the Oracle databases directly to Amazon proprietary databases, or moving into maybe open source database options as well. So it depends on how you do it, right? And some customers I've seen, they don't want to go through the entire project. They directly go for cloud native. This is also possible. Deploying microservices and containers, they can also go to cloud native architecture as well. So really depends on what drives the customer momentum. If they are on-premise for quite some time, let's say a couple of years, and they think about moving to the cloud, this is a journey that you would see. If it's a cloud-born company like Uber or Lyft or Netflix or like Amazon.com, these are cloud-born companies, then you would see that they will start from a cloud-native journey itself, right? So those are like different adoption model. Why do I even show this to you? Just because when you talk to customer in a engagement model, that you can ask what stage are we in? Are we in a project, or in a foundation stage? Are we in a migration stage, or reinvention, or in cloud native stage? Knowing this vocabularies, what does that mean? This is going to really help you because you can just relate it back to your knowledge based on the session what you learned now, so that you can connect back. Okay, the cloud native means I'm using a native cloud services to deploy the project. Okay, understand if they're in cloud native, which means they are not bringing anything from on-premises. Oh, they can talk about foundation. Okay, so they can talk about
Yeah, can you all hear me? I think Gana's video is not there.
Yeah,
I
he
think the line got Gana got disconnected. It looks like.
yeah, he just not there in the Zoom. So probably once he join, I'll add him again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, I'll make some announcements. Let's. Sorry for the disturbance. I think some technical issue on.
Yeah, go ahead, Govind.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajesh. We'll continue.
So gonna yet to join. So if you want to have any announcement, you can share that one, Govind. Right now.
Okay. Yeah. So this meetup, what we plan is every month. We want to do different topics. So we start with the cloud. If anybody wants to share their knowledge, welcome. It's a free session. There is no commercial, no payment or anything. So the objective is share our expert knowledge and expertise and
Hey,
knowledge to the community.
hey, Govind,
That's
sorry.
only our goal.
Sorry,
And
Govind. Can you make me a co-host again?
yeah, sure. Gana.
The internet dropped suddenly. Virtual learning always
Yeah.
has issues.
Also, Uma, who is in our panel, she's going to do the career help and all. So yeah, we'll do the announcement later. Let's continue with where Gana left.
Okay, let me share my. Can you guys see my screen? Perfect.
Yes, Gana.
Okay. So this is where I dropped, right? Govind, certifications.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about certification level. I know this is pretty basics, but there are different type of certification you can take from cloud vendors. But I would recommend go for Amazon or Azure or even Google. Also, it is fine. I talk about a foundation trainings. There are practitioner exam that you can take. It covers the basics. It goes breadth of all services. Then you can jump into an architect. There is a basic level and also advanced level. Again, then you have specialty exams as well if you're specialized in networking, big data, security, machine learning, and Alexa and so on. It is little different the way they have done it, but especially if you're coming from on-premise, have some good background on networking, storage, compute, check out if you got any specialty certification that you can take from Amazon or Azure or even GCP, Google Cloud. It's going to help you a lot in your career. Perfect. So some examples I have highlighted, basic cloud infrastructure. What is a cloud practitioner exam is going to look like? The recommendation is to go for 6 months into the cloud experience or take some proper training. And second, these are like basic things like a high level overview. If you worked on a little bit of on-premise infrastructure, have some basic understanding, I'm pretty confident you can clear the cloud practitioner. This is a basic thing they expect if you apply for hyperscalers or even any other cloud job that you apply, they would want to see your, or do you have practitioner exam at least to basic level that you have this certification. Okay, so there is also like a practice questions. This deck will as go in. You can circulate the deck. So I also place a practice question. You can take an example. How the example question is going to look like, where do you exactly you stand, especially if you're coming some basic certification, basic cloud knowledge, you can try out those as well. Perfect. So that's it. That's my contact, and I'll be available for further questions and answers. Thank you, Govind.
Thank you, Gana. I want to add some point about Gana. In 2020, last 1 year, he has helped the community more than 20 to 30 people to get certification preparation, and few people got his training, free training. Okay, when I say training, don't think that it's a paid training. He only wants to do free training. If at all anybody wants to donate, he will give it to some charity. But it's a completely free training. He's there to help. Anybody wants to get certification in any of the AWS path, he will help. And that is what I want to share to the community. And another thing is, so every month we have a different topic. I already announced. And anybody needs any career help, job switch, and any technical help or anything, Uma Muthu, she's going to be our volunteer. And I shared the food bank fundraise in the beginning. Please donate if you have any interest. And with that, I want to introduce Janaki Kauta. She is going to talk about soft skill, and she is also a service oriented person, and anybody needs any help, she is there for our community. And it's not just for Tamil or anybody in Bay Area, anybody in need of help, please reach out to Gana, Uma, and Janaki. Rajesh, can we promote Janaki as a panelist? Oh, she's there already.
She's already there, so
Okay,
she can able to present from her. Janaki, go ahead,
Can
Janaki.
you guys? Yes.
Thank you,
Hello,
Janaki. Go
everyone,
ahead.
and can you hear me,
Yes, we
Govind?
can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, so perfect. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to you and Bay Area Tamil Mandram for putting together this beautiful platform to bring people like me and Gana and whoever is interested using this platform to be able to give back to the community. Tremendous effort done by you and the team. Thank you so much for that. And my next thanks goes to Gana. Gana and you and I have, talked in the past, but today's session was incredible. And not just the cloud journey, your personal journey, how you came from your, humble beginnings to where you are right now. Kudos to you. You did a fantastic job. I don't know how you can make both of us talk, Govind, because I do have some questions for him, for Gana. I don't know whether he'll be able to chime in if I ask him some questions. We learned so much about cloud, right? Not just about AWS, how the companies are pivoting towards the cloud. I work for NetApp, and we are in two different spectrum, right? But it is not true, because NetApp is no longer a legacy storage company. We are a data management platform. We help our customers move to cloud. All the hyperscalers we work, we have very close relationship with AWS, Azure. This is not a session for NetApp, but I'm just saying that we are the data management company. I have this question for Gana. Gana, all this, most of the organizations are moving their stuff into the cloud, right? How are they empowering their employees to, retrain them to acquire some of those skills? Some people are doing it on their own, but, are the employers doing some innovation, like, some training for them?
That's a fantastic question, Janaki. So every single customer, I think we see the challenges. Sometimes it gets controlled. Customers are controlling the infrastructure. The decision making is all from an IT perspective. Let's say director or senior director. They're trying to control, but once it cross certain stage, we get this requirement. We get the push directly from the execs. Okay, this particular time frame that we have to move this application to cloud. I think that's a period. And then what we need to do to train those employees. I think that's what happens in the journey, like two different examples, two different track. The employees can learn, curious to learn, and then develop into the cloud career. There is a possibility. And if there is a possibility, they show that willingness to develop themselves, and there is a track. I've seen customers put a track for the employees they do. And the customers or the employees, they don't want to, learn. They just stick with what they want to do till they continue for 1 or 2 years. That roles get eliminated. I don't know what happens after that. So that's something I don't want to talk about. But again, the people who are very curious to learn, it doesn't matter what it is, and slowly they will move into the cloud path. And that is happening now. Pretty much all other customers that we see.
That's a fantastic answer. I have one last question before I jump into the networking and personal branding. So in a company, where does this transformation lead? Where does it start, right? At the infrastructure, at the IT level, or the BU level, or like the CIOs driving the organization, or is there a center of excellence, they drive this? Which unit of the business is driving it?
Yeah, I think cloud has given a completely a different perspective, because I come from on-premise, Janik, like yourself, right? So I worked on on-premise. We typically sell this hardware to like an IT department, and then just we move on. But we never had to interact with the exec CIOs or CTO, because we never have to, because we just selling hardware, we just do it. But cloud has given a different transformation. We all talk about the business problem. So example, let's say retailer would like to attract 500 millions of users onto the e-commerce portal, for example. This is a business. We start from there, right? We start from the business challenges, and then start thinking about coming backwards from there. So we start innovating from there. That is where we're talking about cloud. It's a completely fluid architecture. So there are 200 services I talked about. Are you going to use 200 service all of them? Definitely not. It's basically how you architect that come from business problem. So usually, even an architect, we interact with the CIOs and CTO like very high level to define the business problem, and then we bring it down to the services. Then we bring it down to the well architect framework, which gives you the as availability and reliability and so on. Again, it come from the very high level. Cloud gives you the touch. It gives the possibility of seeing the customer problem in real time.
The reason why I asked that question, like, a lot of people think that, the cloud, the infrastructure play, okay, we move everything to the, cloud. It starts with the computer, network, and storage. And people who are in the business unit, they think that they shouldn't be worrying about cloud, right? So anybody, whether they work in the IT side of the organization or the BU side of the organization, the innovation is happening at every level, right? So, every, like you said, the data analytics part of it, like, application development for the engineering side of it, or the IT to keep the lights on that side of the house. Innovation happens everywhere, and people are moving to the cloud, and it's an unstoppable force. I think, what you you shared with us today is at a very high level, but we really appreciate that. After this meetup today, I'm sure Govind is going to entertain a lot of conversation. Whoever is participating in this, like listening in, can send the questions to you or Govind. So we'll try to get the right person to answer those questions, or maybe help them navigate in the journey, the cloud journey. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you, Janaki. This is nice. Great. Thank you.
Okay, so I am going to jump into my networking and personal branding. Let me just share my screen. Guys, I have to just say this. I am taking this call from a remote location. The signal is not that great, and I hope to just continue to stay here. I'm going to switch off the audio, but I'll stay on. Stop the video and be on the audio. I'm sharing my screen. Do you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in today's event, we're going to talk about networking and personal branding. So what is networking? You probably hear a lot about networking. Most likely, from a person like me, I do that to my kids all the time, and sometimes my coworkers or colleagues. But often we don't get a clear definition of what it is and how it is beneficial for our careers. So in business, and networking is an act of maintaining a personal and professional contact list that you can use to further your career, right? So people think that, oh, networking, I'm not in sales, I don't need to network, I don't need to talk to people. But network is for everybody, like, all stages of life, whether you're a school student or you're recently graduated from a college, or you just started working, or even very experienced executive. The more you network, the more people that you can potentially lean on, right, when you need a personal favor. This can ultimately benefit you in furthering your career, or maybe, oftentimes, reach your personal professional goals. So the first step to effective networking is creating a personal brand. Sorry, I'm just moving my screen. Okay. Personal brand. So network is a process that consists of personal branding, preparation, taking action, and a lot of maintenance. So what is a personal brand? I agree. A lot of us, find it very difficult to put ourselves out there. But today, virtually everybody has online presence, which means we all have a personal brand, whether we opted to take charge of it or not. All of you have some presence, like whether it's a Facebook or LinkedIn or, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. Like, the question is how effectively you market yourself online or offline, which is a very tricky one. It takes a lot of legwork on our part. But before we get there, let's talk about why personal branding is important, regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur or a corporate employee, and how we can take some of the simple steps to start, build, and enhance your personal brand. So, like I mentioned here, it's the art of telling your story, how it reflects on your behavior, spoken and unspoken words, and the attitude, right? Oh God, 1 second. My screen is moving. So your brand is what the other people say about you when you're not in the room. Jeff Bezos, like, must be happy, right, Gana?
Yeah, exactly. Good to see that.
That's what he said, and I really like that. He did mention that your brand, and a couple of times in AWS reInvent, he started with this quote: "Your brand is something that people talk about when you're not in the room." I really like that, and I captured that.
Cool.
So anyway, personal branding. It is not just for influencers anymore, right? So companies want to hire people who are passionate about what they do. I'm sure many of you are really, really good in what you're doing, like Gana, right? Excel at your, domain. But how many of you can say that other people know what you're doing, right? Now we have an opportunity to learn how good is Gana is, like, in what he's doing. So unless he talks in such forums or, putting himself out there, not a lot of people know. Maybe at best your coworkers, maybe like your close family members, right? Is it good enough to get the visibility that one needs? I don't think so. So since we're in Tech Meetup today, I'm going to limit my personal branding thing to LinkedIn, right? Let's begin with LinkedIn. These days, your LinkedIn profile says more about your professional ambitions than any resume can ever say. And if you're an active user and have an audience in any platform, like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, right, it gives you an edge, your worth to an employee that proves that you are a more valuable asset, who can advocate for the company. You must have noticed some companies use their employees as their brand ambassadors, right? Everybody encourages their employees to share things like, announcements on, LinkedIn and stuff like that. As I work for NetApp, and a lot of times we have an internal competition too, like, very healthy competition, those who are like, talking about NetApp new releases, the products and stuff like that. We are so encouraged to share that, and there is a competition and some some rewards for that as well. So one of the reasons why you should have this is also one of the reasons why you should have your personal branding. This can make you attractive and valuable to your current and also for your future employees. So creating a personal brand does require some time, and it doesn't have to be difficult. So I'm going to talk about some tactics today, and we'll be on our way to building this personal brand, right? So let's get started. Let me take you to my LinkedIn profile and talk about some best practices. Okay, let's pick. I'm going to keep going today about LinkedIn because there are so many things we can talk about, and soft skills and interviewing skills, and I cannot just cover everything at once. But one thing at a time, right? We'll start with the basic LinkedIn. Let's begin with LinkedIn URL. The first things that you want to know is notice it. You have to have a custom URL. See this here, Janaki Kauta. Creating a vanity URL is the first step to customizing your LinkedIn. The default URL combines your name with a series of numbers. If you have not noticed it, let's just take one person here. And this name is very familiar in this Bay Area, but I'm not picking on anybody, but I just wanted to show you how this URL looks. It combines with some numbers and the name. But the LinkedIn URL is something that you can put as part of your resume, as part of your signature. So customizing this URL is the first step, right? This makes it easier to be found your name, not just with LinkedIn, also via Google. So how do we do it? I'm going to make this. This is where you can go and customize your URL. You can change the way you want it, and then you can hit the save. And this is how you clean up. Once you finish it, save it, and you will have your customized URL. Okay, the next is a photo, right? Did you know that LinkedIn profile with the picture can get you 21 more views than the ones without the picture? So keep it professional. After all, your LinkedIn profile picture, picture is the first impression. Make sure the face is visible clearly and the picture is set to public visibility. So, and this is another real estate people can have. This is called the background photo. This can elevate the LinkedIn by adding some more character. highlighting something that you want your circle, your network to know. This may include so this is what I work for NetApp. I am responsible for Cisco business. So I wanted to highlight the partnership that I have. That's why I put it. Some people put like Bay Area Bridge, or like, Seattle, or where they went to college. So this, make use of this real estate to enhance your profile, right? And then next one is adding the location. Adding the location are particularly beneficial for members actively looking for a job. Recruiters will filter potential applicants by locations to find the best candidates in those areas. So you can go here and put your locations here. The contact information. So the more contact information that you give makes it easy for possible for your customers and prospects to find you easily, right? And then one more thing that I encourage you to do is adding your company information. When you add your company information, you can add the website. You can add your website, but you can customize this. Instead of writing like NetApp or AWS or Azure, you can say things about what the company is doing, like data management company. And then when you look at it, sorry guys. I'll get to that. So, that's another thing that you can do. And a lot of people have difficulty pronouncing Indian names for that matter. So there is a provision here. You cannot hear, I think, but you can go and record your name. So this is something that a lot of people don't notice it. So you can pronounce your name the way you want it to be pronounced, so people will not have difficulty pronouncing your name. So optimize your headline. So headline is one of the most important parts of your LinkedIn profile. So this is the headline, right? Together with your profile picture, this is the first thing that others will see you. This is the moment of your potential customer decides whether he or she wants to take a closer look at your profile, right? If there is something like, oh, I'm like a QA developer or something like that, that is something you don't want. Default, it goes with your current job title, but you can go and customize it, make it more, appealing for the potential the employers to go deeper into the account, deeper into the profile and look at it, right? It should act as an attention grabber, make it potential employer connection to want to click more. So when you're editing your headline, make sure that you clearly define your role and the value that you think should be highlighted. And then also the next thing is creating an engaging LinkedIn summary. This is the summary. So if you see, a lot of people do not have a summary page. And as a matter of fact, that I keep telling my daughter to add a summary page, she just doesn't do that. So it will be like this for them. So there is no summary page. So adding a summary is very important. People often write a bit more about the company they work, even skip it together. That's a very, very missed opportunity. The summary is the ideal place to tell your story about what you do. You can keep it professional, but with a little bit of a personal touch, a personal twist. So make sure it is clear what your value added is for the customer. So the first approximately 300 characters are the most important. This is a part of the profile the visitor sees before he or she clicks on show more. So make your profile visitor curious enough to click on more. So first few 300 characters make it a really, really nice one. And then next we go to the featured. So the featured is the place where you can publish content through LinkedIn publishing platform. This is a place where, if you're an expert in a field, you can create articles or whatever that you want to write So the difference between the post and the article stays here. This gets featured in this place. So post, sometimes you just post it and then just like Facebook post feed, right? It will just disappear after some time. Like, you have to scroll through and find it. But if you write some articles here, if you really want somebody to see it, these are all the places where you can write some articles and show your blog. Even if you have blog something outside, like Medium or something like that, you can share videos, you can put it, customer testimonials if you have, you can put it, or like, if you have a link, you can, for a post, you can even post that link here. If you even going to host a webinar, you can share the link. So after this, you can we talk about the experiences. List all your current position as well as any past positions, including possibility of volunteering work, the side jobs that you do. Make sure that you add the link with the right company pages on LinkedIn. So you can add the way you'll make, this way you can make it easier for people to find and connect with you. From old friends or past colleagues from a different organization, they can just look at the symbol and say, oh, this person worked with me, and they can connect with you. And use your resume as a reference. Include the job title as you want it to be. A lot of people have, like LinkedIn, there is a different job title, different time frame versus what they have it on the resume. So keep it very consistent between this and the resume. If you have held more than one position within the company, the LinkedIn nicely groups it. So I was here in NetApp till 2019 in a different position, and then since 2019 to now, I'm in a different position. So you can just group it nicely. And then another important thing, LinkedIn, is adding skills, right? Especially if you're on the job hunt, make sure you add your skills to this profile. This will definitely pay off. LinkedIn users with 5 or more skills listed in the profile are contacted 33 times more by the recruiters, other than the people who don't have skill sets. They lose that opportunity, right? And these are your specialties. So the things that you stand out, even with all this applicant tracking system and all of this, bots and stuff like that, they go through this adding skills. I think you can add up to 50 skills. And don't be modest. Go ahead and put all the skills that you have. See, all of these. And people can endorse you for these skills as well. So up to 50 skills they can add. And stay away from all these buzzwords like team player, hard worker, and these are not defining your skills, and they should not be used in your profile. There's a limited characters allowed in your headline, summary, or experience. Wasting those buzzwords does very little in enhancing your profile. People are not going to say that hardworking. Can I go and find a hardworking person? Everybody claims a hardworking. So put this skills, make use of it properly, and proofread your profile. Typos, grammatical mistakes have no place on your professional LinkedIn profile. And summary, experiences, content, before you save it, do that and complete your profile. It's not enough to fill your headline, but completing your profile, having that all-star is very, very important. So once you complete your profile, just get connected. Quality or quantity, it's an eternal discussion, right? LinkedIn itself has a set minimum of 50 connections as a basis for a professional network. So you don't have to be rushed to connect. Follow them, like, comment, and share their posts. So when they're ready, send a personalized invitation. Just then go, if you just want to connect with somebody, I don't even know. Just send a personalized. I don't want to go through that with you right now, but no, I think I just sent it to. Oh, you already accepted it. Okay, so send a personalized invite when you connect with somebody, and make use of this. The people you may. So this is a place where you will have a common connections and people who's connected with Ganapati. You can also reach out to them, or you can ask Ganapati to make introduction to some of these people that if you want to extend your network in the same area. And one more thing that I want to say before we wrap this up: post a lot of content. Sharing public posts on LinkedIn is a great way to expand your reach. Engage with your connections, and just a second. if you see these activities, post a lot of content. This is where you can go and post it. Consider, if you don't know what to post, consider, sharing a blog post, some industry news, photos, or even videos. Don't forget to tag your post with relevant hashtags. It can also help other members to connect with your content, right? If people search with the hashtag. Text-based post gets more reach than external link. LinkedIn wants you to stay within this platform, within this page. So try to keep it to text-based post, because if you put a link there, and if a person reading it, it will take you to the external link, and LinkedIn doesn't want you to leave the site and go. So it will restrict your views to many people. So I would recommend you put a text-based, and you can tag people with that symbol so that they can engage with you on the post. They know that you're referring to them or talking about them. And I would even suggest that take some native videos and you can post it instead of like YouTube videos. If you are if you want to say something, if you want to record a footage and put it, that's the best way that you can reach many audience. The more your posts reach, the people will want to network with you, and you can even see who all looked at your profile. And don't be shy, and reach out for recommendations in your network, especially when you're looking for jobs. The reason why I say it, I told you to stay away from all the buzzwords like hardworking and enterprising, enthusiastic, energetic, and stuff like that. These are all the things some of the other people who recommend can say. Not only do LinkedIn recommendation make you look, the profile look good, but they also act as a public references, right? So if you look at some of the recommendations, social selling benchmark, and then we talk about collaboration skills, we talk about energy, passion, cheerful personality, and all of these things that we want to brag about. So others will talk about it, high energy, networking. So all of these things that you can make use of this. So don't shy away from asking recommendations. I think it's the best time to go and ask, and endorse your connections. So if you go to your connection, if you connected with somebody, we can go and talk about skill endorsement here. So you can endorsement. Endorsement is a great way to recognize one's professional abilities. Consider endorsement as a digital compliment that fosters your relationship with your connections and also improve their profile strength too. And not to mention the endorsement given may be an endorsement that you can receive as well. So that's another way to connect with them and extend your network. One more thing is to extend your network. You can be part of many groups, especially if you're in the job market. Being in the groups is the best way to find out some opportunities. For example, if there's a Cisco group, you can see posts like, I'm looking for a new role, would appreciate your support. And then people can look at it. If they have an opportunity, they will reach out to him. And oftentimes I see a lot of people coming and saying, hey, we are hiring. And especially if you're in, networking and Cisco, certification and stuff like that, if you're expert in that, you can find many groups like that. I think one can join up to 100 LinkedIn groups. Some of them are private. You need to just ask them, you request permission to join, but once you join, you can leverage. Just don't be a receiver. You can go and talk about if there's any job openings that you want people to make use of. You can post it there as well. And this is another area where you can go and post jobs or comment on things like, it is not just a job. Sometimes it is about a discussion, AWS discussion or something like that. You can be a silent listener and listening to some of the challenges some people are, facing or they're trying to solve, or if you can input something, you can also put it here. That definitely elevates your LinkedIn profile. And if you're in the job market, I wouldn't even, I would suggest that you can invest in a premium account. It gives you a little more leverage in reaching out to people. You can send in mail messages, even people who are not in your network. And definitely, first month will be try. You can just try it out and see how your network is growing. And if you find it useful, you can even invest it. And one more last thing is, if any one of you have online resume as part of the web page, or you have like another web page promoting your business, consider getting a profile badge. Drive LinkedIn members and prospective employees to your profile by creating a custom profile badge. So you can just do it like this. You can go here. You can go to your contact information, and you can go to this profile here and public profile badge. If you create this public profile badge, and this is how it's going to look like, these are the badges, and you can go and copy the code and the script, copy and paste the following script anywhere in your page. It can be part of your online resume, it can be part of your website, and you have multiple ways that you can display your badge, public badges. So these are all some of the things that one can make use of it. There is so many features in LinkedIn. At a very high level, at least we can start doing these things. It is going to be, like I said, it's a lot of legwork. We covered a lot today. It's time to grow your brand. And by that, we mean taking an active role in the social aspect of LinkedIn, right? As a network, LinkedIn isn't as dynamic as Instagram or Facebook, but there's a lot happening there. Remember, your reason for doing this is to land a great job or a promotion or even to win a client. Establishing an active presence on LinkedIn is a great way of demonstrating that you are proactive about your passion, your field, or the industry. So
Janik,
about it.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah, there is a premium for LinkedIn, right? Premium subscription for LinkedIn. Do you recommend that, especially when anyone is searching for a job? Will it help? What is your recommendation?
I think that one should invest in a premium account, because for me, NetApp, they have given me social selling, LinkedIn Navigator that takes care of some of the premium subscription can do. But if you're looking for a market or changing your career or something like that, it is absolutely important to get the premium subscription. There's so much more you can do. Who viewed your profile, or if you're not a premium subscription person, you cannot see that, and you can also reach out to other people. Just a second, I want to just close this.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Janaki. That helps.
So that's about it from me, Govind. But I know that I rushed a lot of these things because I want to cover all of these things. But I documented, some of the things that I think is the best practice for LinkedIn. People take it for granted. But if you want me to send it, I can just send it. You can share it with the people whoever is asking. But in the meanwhile, if anybody wants to sit with me and work on their LinkedIn profile, I would be happy to set up some time, 15-20 minutes, and give them walk them through personally also. That I can do.
That's great, Janaki. Yeah, I think it's a good start. It's a good start for a lot of people who are looking for this session, soft skill. So we start with LinkedIn today, but definitely next session we will go over more like resume, interview, other like a presentation, all those things, soft skill, along with the tech thing. We want to do this also so that we will be successful in the interview and on our job also, right? So yeah, thanks a lot to Janagi from Bay Area Tamil Mandram. I want to thank Gana, all the volunteers, Janagi, everyone. So you put a lot of effort. You prepared a nice presentation. You shared your personal brand. This is definitely useful for the viewers. Thank you. So with that, so anyone has any questions, you can ask the panelist. Meanwhile, I'll share the Tamil Mandram's.
Yeah, there were two questions.
Yes,
Govind, let me read that. No, she's First question is from Arun. And he asked, choosing the right cloud platform, apart from a cost and reachability, what other things should be considered to choose the right cloud? I think my suggestion is to uh, focus on taking a foundation course from AWS or GCP or Azure, and then depends on what experience you have, what personally you're passionate about. For example, if you're mostly into infrastructure, just focus on AWS and Azure. I mean, GCP always stands out in terms of machine learning. So again, customers do start from infrastructure and then slowly they will rise up to the next level. So take AWS, Azure maybe the good start, but if you're more into machine learning, AI, GCP also a good start. So really depends on what experience that you want to bring into yourself. There's another question. So what happens in the existing application when we move to cloud? Would it be moved to the cloud? Or are there any programming languages we have to work on? It really depends on the application basis. Let's say if you want to rehost an application from on-premise to cloud, it will be simple. You can do rehost architecture. But if you're trying to re-platform, let's say connecting back with this, you want to changing from MySQL database to, let's say, open source, moving to the cloud vendor focused or proprietary databases, then you will have to reconfigure it. In that case, you have to work on the application level. You might have to recode it. So again, it really depends on what level it is. That's it. Thank you, Govind.
Yeah, thank you, Gana. So as I said, this is going to be monthly meetup. We'll come up with a different topic. I think there was a question about...
One second. So there is a question for maybe Jani can answer. Jani, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
So the question is about, so the homemaker moving to professional, which certification you suggest? Anything that you wanted to say from, like, what is your feedback? Maybe I can pick your brain here. It looks like she responses like, I'm a homemaker, I'm moving to professional, where she can start.
It all depends, like, that's a good question, like, whether they want to start, like, but depending on their background, right? Homemaker can be anybody, any background they can have. Are they an engineer back home? Are they an accountant? Are they from commerce background or a journalism background? It all depends. If they want to get into a IT technology front, then you want to, talk about, or you want to be a functional specialist, or you want to just get deeper into networking or cloud computing. There are so many easy courses. I wouldn't say that easy, but, foot in the door kind of a thing. Salesforce for that matter, right? Salesforce admin can be a better, start your journey with that, or a QA tester, or, getting into the QA world. And again, they have to, find how much of the hard work that they're willing to put in. Do they have an aptitude for coding? I cannot, for life of me, I cannot code. I'm a functional specialist. I do have certification in Salesforce, but I don't want to get into a development role, right? And I speak and I want to be in the, I started my life as a recruiter and I was talking to different professionals, and then, went into account management, and then, started with a services company just like you. You and I have a lot of similarities, and I just have to say, till 10th standard, I also studied in Tamil medium, and then moved to English medium just to play sports. I was like, you were talking to me, I feel like, this is my life flashing in front of me, right? The only reason I moved to English medium is when I was in Sarda Vidyalaya, and then they would only give basketball and shuttle badminton, anything with gear, they give it to the English medium kids, and Tamil medium kids only play Coco and Kabaddi. So only to play sports, I just moved to English medium. By the way, that's a different story altogether. But I ended up being here and then working for technology companies. Started as a recruiter and then started managing accounts, and then started working for a services company, and then gotten exposed to the SaaS world, Salesforce services company, and then moved to professional services sales in the product company. Now I'm a hardcore product, selling. I can talk technology at a very high level, 50,000 feet. I'm always, paired up with a solution architect, so I don't have to talk technology. So whoever wants to move from the housewife to thing, they need to understand what aptitude they have. Do they want to code? They want to do a functional? I'll be happy to help them and connect them, and maybe we can just talk about what they want to do and show them there are resources available for them to take advantage of.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was one question about
Jana,
also how Tamil Mandram will help for job seekers. We have a different jobs group for such people who are looking for job, and there are recruiters, hiring manager. They post jobs often, so you can connect with them. Also, for this specific today's meetup, whoever registered, I sent another WhatsApp group for cloud specific to interact with Ghana and Janaki. So feel free to join, and you can always reach out to Tamil Mandram for any of your help. And I'm sharing this slide. Mainly, Tamil Mandram is supporting the local food banks due to COVID impact. We raised a lot of fund for India, like a flood donation and other things, like through NGO committee. We donated a lot of people in India. So similarly, we are doing it for local here now. Two food bank. One is second harvest of Silicon Valley. Another one is Alameda County Community Food Bank. So please donate whatever you can, and going to this URL tinyurl.com as a BATM Food Bank 2021. So this will be in the YouTube, and we'll add it in the description. Feel free to donate later or anytime. I appreciate all your support to local community. Thank you.
So,
Sorry,
Yes,
go ahead,
Sendil?
Janaki. Yes.
No, Sendil, you had a question.
Yes. First, I would like to thank Bay Area Tamil Mandram and Govin for organizing such a wonderful platform. So every like Indian people like who are participating the meeting, and also who is going to see the YouTube video, definitely they get benefited. And even Ghana helping with respect to AWS and cloud related stuff, and really is helping to expand the people to scale up their career. And Janaki, you also helped a lot and explained how to set up their profile in LinkedIn and how they can go next level. And one thing is especially for our Indian H4 EID, right? EID, they might not have much network, especially because they are in a very limited scope within their apartment they are interacting, but they might have a lot of talent, right? Not only technical. And other than that, there are a lot of business, lot of opportunity over here in Bay Area. And based on my limited interaction with you, Janaki, you are the great, motivator. And if possible, we can set up the separate meeting for especially for our Indian women who are not only women, sometimes our gents also in the H4 EAD, and they might have lot of talent, right? The potential talent. They don't have such a networking skill because of they are within the premises. They don't have going. If I'm going office means I have more opportunity to interact with the people to build the network, right? So if you conduct such a meeting, that may help for our people, our community.
Absolutely, Sendil.
How we can
I was just
brand
going
their
to
skills,
say,
right?
Yeah. So, gone are those days,
Yeah, go ahead,
people are people are buried behind their, hiding behind their screens. Initially, when COVID was not the case, we used to travel, we take bars or we carpool, that you meet people on the corridors, in the coffee shops or lunch and dinners, whatnot, right? So the networking ability has, come down tremendously. People do network, not without even knowing that they are networking because they just bump into somebody in the coffee, in the coffee room. You get to meet a different team. How many of us are meeting really another team? You're just meeting with your coworkers, the meeting that you are your team members, at the most with your managers, right? How are we expanding this? And, we have to be online. We have to see what other people are talking about. And you don't have to, you can be a silent listener, right? You can just be there, watch them, have a profile. In order to get access to these things, have a LinkedIn profile. Whether you are just a homemaker, it's okay. Like your point, Sandil, I do have some organizations. You don't have to fake your resume. You don't have to put unnecessary experience that you cannot back it up. And principally, I do not like to put a fake resume, a fake experience so that I get hired, right? So there are some organizations who will take people who had a gap in the resume, or I had a childbirth, I didn't work, I had visa problem, I just got my EAD, and I don't want to say that I worked for this company, which I did not. And because you have 5 years experience, when you go to work, they expect you to show that 5 years experience, and you will be definitely exposed. So without such complications, there are some organizations hiring people freshers. You may not get like paid like tremendously, but at least you can get the foot in the door. You can say your real experience and you can get a real job. So please connect with me, and I will also put together the list of companies or the people who are interested in talking to such people, and those who are interested, they can definitely explore that option.
Thank you so much, Janaki.
Thank you, Janaki. Thank you.
Govind, might be we can plan for a specific discussion, especially for who are like H4 EAD, and they might have like a lot of talent. They might need to do some business or like some sort of like work. So we will create a platform which may help for the.
Good. Yes, Sindil, the purpose of this meeting, monthly tech meetup, is to connect the people who are seeking job and who are hiring also, right? Like those who look at this one, going forward, there will be more networking session once we are out of COVID. It will be in-person session, so we all can meet each other and we can share jobs and other things. So the purpose is that one. So that's why I created a WhatsApp group and invited all of these people to connect with the Ghana. So after Ghana's training, especially in AWS space, people got a job immediately, right? He was helping. So similarly, I just saw some a question online saying that they finished the AWS training, how to get a job. So I suggest them join this Tamil Mandram WhatsApp group and reach out to some hiring manager. So that way they can get connected. This is the online. As Janagi suggested, we all can help them to build their LinkedIn, and we have to check their background and other things. So Tamil Mandram has platform, so we can make use of it and get benefited.
Thank you
everyone.
Thank you, Janaki, once again.
Oh, thank you so much, Govind. Maybe you should just announce it, just like me, right? Maybe I just touched a little bit upon this LinkedIn, right? Maybe some other people are really, really good at what they're doing, and they can probably reach out to you, and they want to just come and use this platform to give what their knowledge to other people, right? Share their experience with other people. I think feel free to reach out to Govind. And I find it like, I always wanted to help people out, but one at a time I was doing it. And this is a great opportunity to reach out to many people and, talk about what I am passionate about. So thank you, Govind, and thank you, Sandil, and the entire BATM Tamil Mandram for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Janaki. So that's the purpose of this meetup, like Rajesh, Uma, and Sindil. We all will get together, and we are going to be career building team and helping team. So we can connect whoever wants any network or help, right?
Sure, Govind.
Yeah, if there are no more questions, I think Rajesh, you can say some thank you note. We can close the meeting.
Yeah,
I see some questions, but we can help them offline also.
Yeah, Govind. I think I want to thank Gana and Janaki, because it's very, very useful, because most of them are not aware like how much useful is LinkedIn, other than just updating our daily details or like all the other information. But yeah, it's really good. But even most of them, even I don't know about the AWS and all the details, but it's very useful for me. So thanks, Gana and Janaki. And yeah, we'll have more sessions will coming up, even for the audience who are watching this video, and even in the Zoom session. So we have a lot of topics are there. So every month we are trying to have this type of sessions, like first week or second week of Saturday. So yeah, please connected and stay touch. Thank you all. And yeah, thanks, Govind, for the opportunity.
Uma, sorry, I'm unable to show you in the video, so for some reason.
Yeah, sorry, I was yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was on mute and my video was stopped. Yeah, I can see now. Can you see my video?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So because you are going to be a reach out person for help, already you said somebody reached you. So I want people to know you so they can call you and ask for help. You and Janagi will be that helping person from the area.
Yeah.
Because of Tamil Mandram.
Good. Thanks, Govind. And thanks, audience, for your time. And
Uma, you want to say a few words about you?
Yeah, I can, but it's already 5:44. So
Yeah,
if
okay,
you
that's
want
fine.
to
Yeah,
continue,
that's
I
running out of time.
can.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good.
So I am like, a budding IT professional. So I have like 5 years of experience in IT in Bay Area. I mean, in California. So I have a very wide experience, wide my academics. So I have studied in 14 different institutions from my kindergarten till my post graduation, and work across the globe. So meanwhile, I have also been a corporate trainer in India. So I wanted to give back to the community and help people with cracking the interviews. So that's been always my specialty. So that's how I reached Govind when he was posting on Facebook. And yeah, I personally feel confident in cracking the interviews. And I always hear from people or all motivator speakers what to do, and nobody tells you how to do it. I mean, majority of them will not be able to tell in that particular session how to do it. So I wanted to tell people how you can do. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a coach. I can just help people realize what they are skilled at and how they can bring it to the table. So that is what I wanted to help people. So I have been now I have break in my career, and I did my BSc nutrition, and then I did my MCA. And so that's how my academics was, mix of lot of things. And then I got into IT. I'm a small business owner, and now I'm into product design. I was working at Apple before and Adobe, and now I'm studying. So because I want to do what I love. So I'm going into product design now. I was a full stack developer, and now I'm going to product design. I'm studying. So I just want to tell people how they can achieve things instead of saying what to do, what to do always. So in that way, I thought I can contribute back to the community, and I want to, be part of BATM.
Uma, maybe you can tell your number. We will put it in the YouTube also. Just
Oh,
somebody was asking.
yeah,
If it is
sure.
okay, you can share your number.
Yeah, I
Uma,
can.
what an incredible journey, Uma, from a nutritionist,
Yeah,
coming back to this IT and a full stack developer to product design. And you are a classic example of all the people who are thinking, right, what is my next step is going to be? I'm a homemaker. How do I go? You've gone through tremendous, like everything from nutrition to IT to product designing now. So, I will just pick your brain one of these days.
sure,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm going to take a coaching also from you, Uma. Just help me to crack all the interviews. I do have a bad struggle.
Definitely. I was a
in
placement trainer in India. I
Hey,
was
Gana, after gone through AWS interview, you should be separately, having a session for AWS, cracking AWS interview with all the leadership principles and star format and all this stuff. We should have, I was going to ask you, but, you didn't want to talk about AWS. But that is like,
yeah,
if you
maybe
have cracked that interview, that's amazing.
yeah. In a month, I should be ready. I mean, there is a HR policy that I cannot talk. I have to clear it. There's a tier 2 certification I have to go through. I think once that is over, then I'm all open. Yeah.
Sure. Good.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
yeah,
Yeah,
great.
if anybody wants to reach out to Uma or anyone, you can send an email to info@sfbatam.org, or as he said, like you can join the WhatsApp group or send an email to Gana or one of us. He shared his number. Yeah, we all are connected. We will route to the right channel.
Yeah, like someone
Or connect with us on LinkedIn.
asked.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Connect to
LinkedIn, yeah.
Janaki, she will funnel through. Yeah.
Easy way to, you don't have to wait for somebody else to make the connection for you. LinkedIn is there. Update all your information. Reach out to other people. That reach is in your fingertips, by the way.
Yeah. And all of you, once you join, share your LinkedIn. I will post there so we all can connect to each other. And one more announcement from Tamil Mandram. We have tomorrow another Tamil literature meeting, Tamil Ilakkiya Kootam. So we are going to do some kids Tirukural, and that's going to be fun because of around 15 kids are going to say Tirukural and their meaning and impact their life. They are just 8 to 15-year old, like they just understand the meaning, and they are going to say how they understood and how they are implementing in their life. So that's what the Tamil Mantram has practiced them last 2 months through a lot of volunteers. So we are going to broadcast that. Please join. And yeah, thank you all for participants. So
It's a great effort, Govind. Take care. It's a lot of effort from your end. I see that. I mean, you are being amazing person helping for last 2 years. It's just incredible journey with you.
Thank you, Gana. Thank you.
How many hours you put in over the weekend? Nobody has a clue. But this service all it's just incredible, Govind.
I
Right.
got charged from volunteers like you. It's not my job. It's a teamwork. Thank you.
Yeah, always
Thank
pleasure.
you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rajesh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.